Forgot. I don't know. I mean, barely
Being
remember.
being Zolo.
Being what?
What?
Huh?
I just read the title for the fucking show.
Yeah. Me too.
What's the title for the show?
Let's not pussyfoot around.
Pussy.
Well, that's pretty funny.
I hope we don't get flagged with the P word, but it is what it is. What's up, guys? What's going on? Happy Tuesday. Hey. That's a greeting. That's a greeting right there.
Mhm.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 58 of Breaking the Mold. Harrigan BX. Let's say what's up to the rest of the crew. Energon Addict. How you doing tonight, Pop?
Yo, what's good, everybody?
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Dave.
The guys know this, but you listeners may not know. I tried calling out sick, but the chat between these fools wouldn't let me fucking miss out on tonight. So I was like, I peeled myself off the couch, took a shower. I'm like, I gotta fucking hang out for a bit.
I hear you on that, dude. I caught a second wind myself. We got some real bad weather here in the city, and I walk home from work, as exercise and stuff. So I'm like, I'll walk in the snow. It'll be like a little bonus workout. But that's exhausting, dude. I was ready to pass out on the couch as soon as I got here. So I feel you, man. I feel you.
I did that yesterday when I got home from work. Like, my parents were still here with the kid. My mom was feeding my daughter dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I just took a quick little nap until my mom woke me up and she's like, "Can we leave?" I'm like, "Yeah, can leave. Go, Mom. I'll get up." But I think that was the start of it because I was feeling funny. And then, once ETR started, and I was laughing through the show and shit, I was watching it, but I was trying to keep up with the chat. Your eyes just start fucking, closing, and it's not due to the content. It's just I was just not feeling good. And
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, I'm out. I'll catch the rest tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think I got like an hour and a half in. That was a pretty long show yesterday. Covered a lot of stuff. So
Well, you got through most of it, and yeah, man. I guess the con crud, as they say, is real because I felt that way Sunday. Felt like shit. Went to sleep with a headache, and I felt nauseous, and I went to sleep way earlier than I usually do. Like, I remember I texted you, right? And when I woke up in the morning, you hit me back at like 9 something. I didn't see that till like 6 in the morning. I think I crashed like around 8:30, that never happens.
wow.
I remember I hit you up and I was like, I don't know if it's this, and you were like, no, never blame that.
Oh, yeah.
So and it wasn't that. For sure. But yeah, man, I don't know. Maybe something floating around Zola Con there where we were this weekend. So
Zolo crud.
the Zolo crud. We'll talk about that real quick. Brian Brick, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's up, Brian?
going on?
Hi.
I'm good. I'm not. I didn't catch anything. I don't think so. I'm all good. But my back hurts, man. I shoveled a lot of snow yesterday. So
Be careful with that, man. We get people that fucking shoveling snow and they go into cardiac arrest and shit. You know what I'm saying? So just take it easy.
That's
Not only
not
that,
fun.
yeah, I spent I think 2 days in this chair because I work from home 2 days, and I don't think this chair is made for 2 days of sitting.
Oh, speaking of sitting, we got Big Dom. What's going on?
Dude, I didn't sit one time at that convention, so shut the fuck up. I saw
Wait a
all
minute.
you
We were
motherfuckers-
sitting
I
in that
saw
little
all
lounge
you
area.
motherfuckers sitting in that little cafeteria, all tired out and shit. I was walking around looking at some good stuff.
Nice. All right. What's up, G Money?
Everything is great. It's good to see you guys again after seeing everybody this weekend. A lot of great emotions this weekend. Some excitement, right? Some anticipation, a little bit of regret. Just all rolled into one. So I'm sure we'll talk about it.
That's right. Feeling the hat.
Yes, it was a gift. It was one of my best pickups. It was a gift from JD and Chan. So I'm going to need it because we got 10 more inches of snow as of about an hour ago. So I'm sure tomorrow it's going to keep me nice and warm.
Keep that cranium warm.
Exactly.
Nice. And everybody's favorite pigment surgeon, JD. How you doing tonight, man?
Hi, everybody. I'm gassy today.
You gassy?
Today, just today.
You just burped. Are we going to be hearing it come out the other end too?
Maybe if you're lucky.
Good thing we can't smell through the mics.
Save it for tomorrow, JD.
Oh, jeez.
Why? What's tomorrow?
Oh, it's figure banging week.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
That's for all.
And
the
I
fart
just
humor
ate a
goes.
burrito, so that probably is not going to help matters.
Monday night burrito night.
Yep.
Yeah,
Is
we
that a
missed
thing,
the
or did you just make that up?
No, we usually go for burritos Monday.
Oh, okay.
Don't you listen to this show?
I know, really.
I don't think I do listen, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about burritos.
Oh,
Really?
actually, today's Tuesday. You're on the wrong night.
Yeah, I know. I just said we missed
Now I'm all
it
fucked
yesterday.
up. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'm gonna think tomorrow's Tuesday now.
See what happens, Brian? You try to make fun of me?
Says the guy with the horny hat on.
Listen, I may have a horny hat, but I did not get into that phase life of those mini Fison dolls everybody seems to be picking up.
You fucking digging at me already, bro? I didn't say shit about you.
No, listen, I didn't say anything about you, Dave. JD bought
Me and my
one.
fucking
He
fight,
dropped
right?
names.
Chris bought
Look
one.
how
Vinny
guilty
bought
you
one.
are.
You know, I think Dom got a couple.
No, I did not get one.
You didn't buy any of those, Dom? Don't bullshit.
No.
Come on.
Yeah, Sherry.
Let me highlight. Dave.
No, I did not get one.
Yeah.
I don't pay for my women.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Just not in the way you think. Just not in the way you think.
We all do, right?
We all do.
Keep it
Well,
up,
you know what they
Jose.
say?
Keep it up.
Give them an inch, they take a foot, right?
I think I caught some innuendo in there. I see what you did. I see what you did there. All right, guys. We went to Zola Con this past weekend. It happened to be the first Realm of Collectors meetup for 2019. I like the way Brian Brink referred to it as the Realm re-up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think the last time we all kind of gathered was at ToyCon NJ back in November. Seems like that's too many months, you know what I'm saying, before we get a little hangout. You know, Dave, I know I've seen you got to do dinner a couple of times with Chris and shit, but getting everybody together for a convention like this was pretty awesome. And it was my first time there. I think it was the first time for a few of us, right?
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's run it down the line. I know Brink has been there before. Dom, you've done that show in the past as well, right?
Yeah, I've been there for a couple times.
Yeah. So let's run it down the line and just get everybody's impressions of the show. I do want to hear what you guys picked up. I could just imagine that everybody knows there was some mythic pickups there, you know, but interested to hear what you guys thought about the show overall. Like, you know, I've heard Brink bring it up before, and this was our first time, and it was pretty interesting. So Brink, I'll start with you. You've been there before. Was the show the same as it was before? Was anything different this time around?
Nothing seemed different. It's the same. It's the same layout. The outer circle, inner circle type of thing. This is the second time they did the upstairs, and Jose, I was listening to Verbally Challenged, and everybody's talking about how dark and hot it is up there, and that is definitely a fact. But I really like that venue. It's cool. I like the fact that you know, well, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but Brix's Lego store is right near there as well, so it's always gives you more than one thing to do while you're up there. And to me, it's like ToyCon. It's got a wide variety of stuff and not a lot of the mainline like retail stuff that we see at, say, NJCC and things like that. And it's not just vintage. It's just there's some wacky stuff there, man. It's just I like it.
Yeah, that's true. I think Chris brought it up when I was talking to him for my show. Kind of like some of those vendors had things that were a little bit more artsy. Not the typical like mainstream stuff. And there's a fest. They have a convention here called the 5 Points Fest that they've just started doing here within the past year or so. In Brooklyn. Brink, you went to the last one with me and Chris and stuff like that. So kind of similar, right? Some of the things that you saw at Zola Con were similar to some of the things that you saw in Brooklyn at that show, right?
Yeah, indeed. People making their own custom action figures and
stuff
like that. Some artists. There were some really interesting. I won't say interesting, but there was some really good art there as well. So it was pretty awesome. I mean, when you go to some of these cons, you see people just selling like prints, not their own prints, you know what I mean, but like high quality photographs of, you know, MCU characters or whatever. Like people will sell those kind of prints at some of those shows, but these are like, you know, people selling their own art, which is always good to see.
Yeah. And I liked what I saw too from some of the vendors, like some of the artists that were there selling their artwork. Some took that extra step to already put some of those things in frames and other, like I just was impressed with that. Like, cause it was almost like you didn't have, usually when you pick up those pieces, you're just getting the artwork itself. So you usually have to go and get a frame yourself. If you're planning on putting that stuff up. And I'm glad that some people there already kind of had that in mind, and had some of their artwork already kind of like in picture frames, whether it was the bigger art pieces or even some of the smaller ones. You know, I thought that was pretty cool.
Go ahead, Gary. I think you're getting ready to say what I was going to say.
Oh no, I don't know, but I was just going to say that it was a wide variety of items, and the vendors and the artists, everybody seemed a little bit more outgoing than some of the other shows I've been to, where you could have conversations, you know, and just kind of talk to him. Like Brian and I talked to a guy who was selling his own kind of line action figure, and he had some items there just to kind of catch your eye. And one of them was this Home Depot like Halloween decoration that he had painted that made it look like super high end upscale. But it was just, I felt like there was a little bit more conversation with some of the people there versus someone's trying to sell you, you know, the most recent wave of Marvel Legends, you know, kind of stuff. So I enjoyed that aspect of it, you know, and same thing, a wide variety, some arts and craftsy stuff, some, you know, artwork, you know, a lot of casted resin figures that were painted or, you know, molds that were kind of unique and custom and stuff. So I like that part of it. It was neat to see that stuff.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, if people are bringing their art, you might as well do some merchandising and have it framed and give people an idea of, oh, wow, you know, it looks nice.
Yeah. Dom, you've been to the show before. What did you think of it this time around?
I always have a good time at the show. It's you know, there's a variety of stuff, so it's always good to take your time, go through the tables, see what everything has, because there's some hidden treasures. And sometimes, you know, it's funny because I've seen when you go to these conventions, you'll see the same dealers over and over again, and sometimes, you know, you expect to see the same stuff, but some of these dealers, you know, sometimes have, you know, bring some new stuff, and that's when it makes it interesting. So it's nice to see that, you know, the same dealers, but then new stuff on that table instead of the same old stuff, you know.
Yeah. No. Speaking of the same dealers, I've been there 4 times, and I happen to realize that I've seen people in the same spots every time as well. So it looks like you can claim that spot if you're a regular seller and be like, that's where I want to be.
Oh, interesting. Kind of like what the Realm has been doing the last few shows at NJCC with the Rock Island and stuff. That's awesome. Damn, I had a question and it just slipped me. Just slipped my mind.
But overall, like I think, you know, the layout's it's somewhat cool because you're actually in the facility that you know they used for, you know, the fuse and everything like that. So
yeah, that was very interesting. Yeah, and they actually still had some of those pieces like in there, like a museum, like almost, right?
Yep.
It is hard to see though, just that venue. And I know Chris, I heard him say on one of the Monday shows that, you know, his family was going to go and they all had flashlights. And I was thinking to myself, flashlights, why on earth? But you saw people like looking at tables and stuff with the flashlights because the lighting, especially in that upper level, is really, really tough.
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, it kind of added to some of the challenge when you're looking, but at some point it kind of gives you a little bit of a headache. I think just trying to see what you're really looking at.
As I say, it's interesting though too. It's like where do you go to a toy show and you actually it's like you're, what was that show? The Pickers, American Pickers.
American Pickers.
You know, they got their flashlights and they're digging through people's attics and stuff. I don't know. I think it adds to the experience.
It was interesting. I think Brian, you had mentioned it, right? Like about bringing maybe like a flashlight and stuff. On the lower level, it wasn't as bad as up top, but Gary, I agree with you, man. Like it was still somewhat difficult when you're walking, you know, around that circle and you're looking at tables. Like it's not brightly lit, so it is a little bit harder to kind of, you have to focus a little bit more basically at the table and everything that they had to offer. And I did feel like like at the end of the day, like I was like, man, I felt like I was straining a little bit, you know. I would remember telling Chuck, like I would have easily missed like one of these like third party figures, these Legends pieces that he wound up actually picking up at the show. And it was like when I did the second pass that I was like, oh, like look at this, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just with no light there, your eyes aren't really drawn to anything.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a little bit tough. I remember Gort, when I asked him, said, that might be a good thing. If I miss something, I'll save a few bucks. But if I was a vendor there, because I was looking at that show, I was like, oh, maybe this might be an opportunity to come here and get a table. I just don't see, I don't like that, the fact that I might have to bring my own lighting setup if I want to have some decent lighting. Yeah.
So, it's interesting, Jose, like you brought up, I was going to kind of say something that was really cool for me is like we hang out at these shows and we go to really hang out with each other. Yeah. And, again, it is very fortunate that just geographic proximity with the Four Horsemen and the shows they attend. So we can always, if we're into it, get Mythic Legions and some extras and stuff like that and have something, to look for that is going to be there. But for me, this, like, when you walk a show, you see pretty entertaining as well. So I spent some time, I did a couple laps with Gort, and watching him sort through bins of stuff. I just made one comment about one particular obscure 90s figure. I was like, I wonder if they have one of these here. He's like, oh, I saw it upstairs in this bin and such. And he we walked up and found it. I'm like, how on earth did you ever find that? Just with his skill of sorting. And I know Chuck is another one who just seems to work a show really well and can find a lot of details. So that was fun for me. And then honestly, I enjoyed seeing Dom get excited because you're good at finding what you're looking for. And when you found that one vendor with some Motu stuff, it was neat seeing someone who has a large collection still get really pumped and amped up about stuff that they didn't have, and searching for it. So I enjoyed that.
Nice. I didn't even really notice anybody there. I mean, again, I was just kind of more like browsing. I didn't see anything there that I was particularly like looking for. But I didn't even notice like a ton of Masters of the Universe stuff. So I must have missed that guy. Nice.
He had a whole collection.
Dom, you picked up some stuff?
Yeah, he had like two of every. He had a whole collection. He said he bought a collection from a guy, and he had pretty much two of everything. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, it's funny because there was the first thing I saw, like when I got after it was done with the Mythic Legion table, took a walk past the little cafe area that they had, and I noticed like this there was like three guys that I always remember. I know who they are, and they were cleaning house on this guy who was selling a bunch of Toy Biz stuff, and it looked like the guy had his personal collection. He was just liquidating his personal collection. I think he had like each figure he had for like $25 each. And literally the two guys went through his collection and picked out the most hottest Toy Biz figures in that collection and bought them all. And I'm like, from that point, I was like, wow, like there's going to be some good stuff here if people have their personal collections in here. Mm-hmm. And I was not interested in Toys Biz at all, but I know some of that stuff sells for a good amount of money, so I know those two guys are going to probably flip those things and make some money. But when I walked over and then I saw, because I was looking for Mythics and Masters in the Universe, so I've been on this hunt for some of those odd characters in Masters of the Universe that can go along with your Mythic Legions. Mm-hmm. So I've been picking some of those up, and I was then when I saw the guy, he had a bunch of stuff, and I started looking at his prices. His prices were fairly like what's going on in eBay and stuff like that. But then shortly after, there was a guy from San Diego. He flew out from San Diego to come to this show.
Wow,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I consider this a small show. It's not like huge, like a Comic-Con or anything like that. And just to fly out here to this show, that has to say something for the show. That you have a guy from the West Coast coming all the way down over here to go to the show.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Because I remember, Dave, like when I spoke to you at the show, and it was your first time going, right? You picked me up, we hooked up with Dom, and he drove us the rest of the way. Your first time, my first time, and I remember, like Dom said, the show is not huge, and it's a little bit of a different layout. So we got there, we made those. You basically, that first hour, you make all the laps. You can make 2, 3, 4, 5 laps in an hour, and
it's set up that way to make laps.
Yeah,
dude.
So,
you guys,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I shouldn't say no. It's just laps. Like you guys were hustling. Like I was like, figured I'd meet you in the parking lot. I wasn't, didn't think I was too far behind. And I called Jose. He's like, "Oh, we're already in here." And I get in, and Dom had already done like 2 laps, and Dave was out of breath already. And I'm not kidding. It was like we did the early bird, and then it was like 9:20, and Dave's like, "Yeah, we're done. I think I'm good."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Dude," I was like, "It's not a race." I was like, "Man."
That's what I was about to say. Like Dave brought that up. I remember, like we were there about an hour and a half, and we sat down and we were recording and stuff. And he said that he's like, "Yo, I'm almost like ready to go." And it's like it's true because it's you make those laps, and if you already got what you needed, like I get it. But Dave, what did you think of the show? Like, would it being your first time there? Like, how do you think of it overall?
Well, I like the show. I think it was cool. We got through with it pretty quickly, like you just said, which would probably be my only gripe because you get through the show, you travel that long distance, and then you're like, what do we do? And then we were all trickling at different times, so it's kind of hard to kind of coordinate with everybody because we got there, like Gary said, then he finally got there, then Chris got there. Everybody comes in with a plan, right? And then they disappear. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, Chris has been here for an hour. I haven't seen him, And then JD and Chan gets there, they get there. I think we got to see them when they came in because we were right by the front. But everybody else that got there is just randomly. I'm like, oh shit, it's Chuck. What's up, dude? Just everybody scattered all over the place because everybody's on a mission. Everybody's got a goal. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to miss out on anything. But with every show that's not like NJCC where it's pre-planned that we're gonna stay the night. I think that with a show like that, I would like to do that next time because what for me, the traveling is what gets me the most. You know what I mean? By the end of that night, I'm shot. Imagine getting up 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, to get to a show, and then getting home 7, 8 o'clock at night, and you were on your feet most of the day, and if not, you were in traffic the other half of it. It wears you out. So I would like to just probably stay longer, either come the night before, to avoid the sleepiness the next day, or just stay that night. I know a few of us mentioned it, but it was too close, close for comfort when we were deciding. But I think next time, if we're gonna do Zola Con, make it at least a one night thing. That way we all get to actually enjoy the time.
Make it make an event out of it. Yeah, that's true. I actually didn't even think about it that way, but it's true. We did the show early. We got there early, and we had time, and we left relatively mid afternoon. But yeah, the day was long just because you had to be up extra early. You were picking people up and then dropping people off, so not an easy commute for sure. I think that would be good because I did feel like despite the time at the convention, I felt like I didn't get enough time with everybody.
Yeah,
like we usually do at an NJCC and stuff like that. Now that it's a 2-day show, right. And this is a 2-day show, but nobody planned to be here to be like, okay, we're gonna stay the 2 days. So that's an interesting idea, man. I think I'd be down for that. Just planning ahead, and if everybody kind of knows ahead of time, then we could plan just to do different things together. Like the con, we could go, but then we could just plan the rest of our evening as far as hanging out and doing whatever we're gonna do.
And just think, we could hit the con up again the next day. You already know basically what's there. You can go with the hopes of maybe people restocking, bringing some new items. Or maybe different vendors might come in because some people couldn't make the Saturday show, and then you get 2 days out of it. You don't feel like you missed anything. I know with me, with the Mythic stuff, for example, I went in with a plan and I got what I wanted. But then like throughout the day, you realize, hey, I still got a little bit of money on me. Do I go and buy something else, or do I get another one of these figures that I need? You know, and by the time I was home, and I was like, shit, I should have got that fucking last one that I didn't get.
That's why.
At least with Sunday, we would have that option and be like, you know what? I'll just go back tomorrow morning, get it quick, and then be on my merry way. You know?
Yeah, that's true. It gives you a little bit more options. Like Gary, would you be open to that? Because you travel far. Like it's a long trip for you.
I have actually, you know, in the past, based on whatever it was, just so I wouldn't have to cut it short, you know, and the last minute for me with my work schedule, being able to make it, and it was from up here, so it was just solid 3.5 hours of a drive, and I just did it all for the day. I was ready to stay that night if I needed to, but I think I left early enough to get back okay. So it is tough. So yeah, I think it is. It's the balance is when we do NJCC, a lot of times it turns into a working event almost because people are there selling. Yeah. So you do Saturday all day Saturday, hang out Saturday night, and get back early to sell on Sunday. But it definitely would be a little more fun to get out there either the night before, and do stuff, or like Dave said, if you hit a 2-day show and hang out that night and then hit it real fast before you go back home is one thing. But it's also the trade-off. Like to me, it's worth it for the sacrifice, just to take advantage of, again, not just the show, but being able to see people coordinate together,
Oh yeah. I agree with you with that. It's like I can complain all I want about the being tired, but it was worth it. Like I'll do it again. I'll do it next week if I could. You know what I mean? Just to see you fools. You know what I'm saying? Like it's worth it every time.
Yeah. But, I mean, originally I wasn't going to be able to make it. EE Prime wasn't going to be able to make it, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, everybody's going to go, and so just it's not the fear of missing out really as show stuff. I think it's just you don't want to miss a chance to just hang out with people. Especially after that gap, like you said, because November feels like forever ago. Since Toy-Con.
And they've with the holiday in there, they had a pretty good rate. It was basically $109 for a night, and it was 2 beds and really nice rooms.
Listen, we need to start fucking double downing on them things, man. Bring the fucking air mattresses. Me, Jose, and Gary have done it before, but we need to start doing it like more often. Like fucking buy a room, we all fucking sleep in it. Just fucking keep to your fucking side of the fucking wherever you are. And,
the room had a pull-out couch in there too.
Yeah, see, there you go.
See, Dust in the chat, he's saying I asked everybody to make it a 2-day thing and got nothing from us bums. I don't recall that.
No, he did. No, he did. But
like
I said, it was just too close for comfort. Like like with me, I need to know I'm doing that 2 weeks in advance, like at least sometimes a month in advance, because I gotta prep the wife. Like, I'm gonna be gone for 2 days this weekend.
And it's tricky too. And no, in all seriousness, right? Dust always offers people to crash there.
Of course,
for stuff, whether it be the Toy-Con after party or before an event. He reached out. I think it's just sometimes when your work schedule, if you're not off the whole day before. Like for me, it was like, okay, I worked all day till 6:30 the Friday night. Do I suck it up and try and drive 3.5 hours at night when you're tired, or do you just sleep in your own house, and get up early? I think that's just something to do. And you guys, I can't stay up past 9 o'clock anyway because I do get up so early anyway. So up at 4 and hit the road.
But there was a retro fitness, Gary. You got to
well, now I know.
Oh, there was.
Listen, dude, there's a retro fitness there, and there's one by Toy-Con. So that is something else we could coordinate if we have like an overnight stay.
Gary's trying to get all of us in the gym. Whenever we do these 2-night things, he's like, who's working out in the morning? And
I'm always like,
comes. And then I fucking can't wake up.
He says that all, Jose, he says that all now, right? But he gets one of us in the gym and we're not keeping up with his fucking athletic ass, he'll be like, I regret this. I want to go on to the next machine. What the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, it'll be like he'll break up with us, like that picture you posted in the wellness group, right? Yeah, the gym bro broke up with his dude because he's not getting enough pump.
He's not spotting me right.
I said that too. I was like, man, we gotta watch it for lunch too, because whatever we wind up eating, Gary's gonna be looking at us with a little side.
Everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that I had a delicious sandwich because I'm not in the wellness challenge.
Oh man. But the commute for you wasn't too bad. I remember, dude, you posted in the chat. Me and Dave, they didn't even drop me off yet, and you were like, "I'm home." I'm like, "How the fuck?"
Yeah. Well, when you fucking drive a green fucking, what was that, Gary? A monster of a
Charger,
fucking car.
He had a Charger,
A green
right?
Charger. He started the shit
Is
from
a
like
cha-
half a
okay,
block
is a-
away and
is-
shook the
is a-
whole building.
Is a Challenger. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Bro, you were doing like 100 the whole way home. Right?
No, I'm very responsible. Very responsible. Very responsible.
People were probably moving out of his way once they saw that shit fucking behind them.
Gary's like, yeah, I do 100. I'm white, bro. Don't worry about it.
All right, JD, you came through with Chan. That's a show that's a little bit closer to you, I would assume, right? Than the rest of us. You're already in Pennsylvania, but I think it was still a little bit of a troop for you. How did you guys enjoy the show?
We had fun. It was, of course, our first time there.
Oh, first time? Nice.
Yeah, it was our first time there. Takes about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes to get there. So
Well, that's like MJCC. All right, so then it's not as close. It's Pennsylvania, but I guess you're a little bit further out, right?
Yeah. But yeah, we had a good time. Like, it was small. I feel like I didn't get enough time with anybody, with everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
like before I knew it, it was over. I was trying to like cram as much in as I could, and then whatever 3-4 o'clock rolled around and everybody was gone. It's like, wow, okay. So then we made another lap around the place, and we picked a good amount of stuff up though. It's we had fun.
How long did you stay after? Because we all said our goodbyes in the parking lot, and you and Shan went back in. So how long did you hang out after we all dipped out?
Like I said, we did another lap around everything, and then we were gonna go hang out with Bricks, but yeah, we were pretty tired.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, she wasn't feeling that great to begin with.
It was really cold.
Yeah, it was really cold.
It was really
Hell
cold.
yeah, it was Brick.
My face got all chappy and shit from all the walks back and forth to the car, unloading toys, going back.
It said it was like 30 some degrees. There's no way it had to have been colder. It had to have been like in the teens. It had to have been.
Yeah, it says 30, feels like 12, Yeah. Well, so what did you guys pick up? I know the incentive, like for Dom, he had the early bird ticket. I know there were going to be some exclusive Mythic Legions figures there. Heard there was a little bit of a thing with that though, because supposedly they had to kind of ship them in fast from China, so they paid extra shipping, which I guess they were passing on to the consumer. So I heard some of you guys maybe like passed on some of those pieces. Like, so did you guys find the pieces that you needed?
I mean, we didn't.
Just before anybody says anything, I think I love the Four Horsemen. I love what they're doing. But dude, they need to learn how to fucking put out their shit, like, and get everything out, because it's like every damn show we go to, they are late to everything, and then they're like, they don't put out anything, or like if you have 16 figures and that's what you have, then put out all 16 figures. Don't have them in boxes behind you, and then and people have to sit in front of your table the whole day to see what the hell you have. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, like you see boxes that are closed, and you're waiting by the table to see when they're gonna fucking open them, because you want to know if there's something that's different in the box.
Well,
right? Is that
that was a thing, because I remember a little bit later in the day, Dom, like you were going through a box and there were figures there that you said weren't on the table earlier.
Right? There was no figures on the table, and then after we were done, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna buy these 3 elf builders, and that's all I need. I wish they had more from the line, the previous line that we just got through. And great, I understand that they had those 3 exclusives, which I already pre-ordered. I was tempted to buy another round, but I know we're going to get a chance to buy them again online. They're going to have them available online again. So I said, you know what? Let me just buy these 3 and that's it, and then nothing else. And then I took a walk around, and some vendor had two of the figures that I was looking for. And granted, he I only paid $2.50 more than what I would have paid at per the figures that I would have paid at the Four Horsemen's table. But I paid there, and then all of a sudden I went back like an hour later, went through the box, and found the same two figures that I bought from somebody else. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, you know why they did that though? They're trying to push those because it costs them a little bit more money to get.
But JD, they had like the whole table was just those exclusives. They could have just put 3 rows of that, and then once it got low, just refill them, and then put the rest of the table of all the other figures that they had.
Exactly.
Well,
I agree with Dom, because I would want to put out all the available figures you have. That way, if anybody's just walking in and has to go, at least they would have had the opportunity to get the pieces they needed. If they're only putting out certain pieces at certain times, then there's possibly people that probably went to that show for that stuff and they missed out.
Yeah, and like Brian said that the tiger head was there. The guy with the tiger head was Bilam was there.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know you needed it. I had it and showed it to Dave, and he already had it.
Yeah, no, I needed 2 because he comes with a knight's helmet.
Of course you did.
but that did happen because I met. So most of us, like in the group, aside from Jose, because he doesn't do the Mythic, we're in another Facebook group, and they were dudes that were in that group that were at that show.
Yeah.
They were saying they were going to be there. So there was this one dude, I forget his name. I think it was Anthony. Yeah. So he was there with his daughter, and I knew he was going to be there. And I introduced myself to him, online. He's like, "Oh, Dave, right? You wanted to take the picture?" I was like, "Yeah." So we chopped it up for a few, and before you knew it, he was back at the table. Maybe like after circling the show and already had buying what he bought at the Mythic table. There was some other dude going through the boxes, and he pulled up a figure, the snag figure. So it's one of the harder ones to find.
Yep.
The guy pulls it out the box. He goes, "This wasn't here before. Like, I looked through these. This wasn't here before." And he's like, "Oh, sorry." He's like, "Keep looking, because I just went through them all and I found it." So he's like, "Oh man, I wish I would have knew." So like Dom said, like they should just do a better job of.
So we shouldn't be looking through boxes. Like we shouldn't be looking through boxes because first it's awkward, and like you see the boxes and you're like, what's in here? Is there anything other than on the table? And they didn't even know. They didn't they didn't have no information, or they didn't care. Or whatever.
It was funny because we did look like scavengers, and also one of their head dudes was out. Cornboy, I think he he had like a medical thing or whatever, so he couldn't make the show. Yeah. But I was one of the first people there, and they were actually waiting for a second table. They were expecting to have 2 tables, and they only had the one. So that kind
of they were going to have another table on the other where the
boxes
was.
were.
Yeah, where the pier was, and on the other side. Yeah, that'd be great. But it's just I don't know. I just feel like their prep work to get to these conventions, and they gotta know by now that their people are coming to these conventions for them. And like Toy Con, there's about a good 50 to 100 people coming to that show just for them. So gotta get the shit together, man.
Sucks to hear that you figure a company like that and they know that their product is wanted and people are looking for that stuff. You'd think they'd probably have that a little bit more put together. I mean, you guys made this several passes, so did you eventually get everything you needed? Like, I understand though, like I don't think you should have to be digging through boxes. Especially I would feel probably like a little weird about it. Like, just put out your stock. But
I got a nice little dose of regret at the lunch table.
Oh man, dude, us recorded that live. I don't think he's put out the video yet.
I don't think he has yet.
But let the people know. Yeah, let the people know, man. That was actually pretty impressive because I like the way that figure had 3 different owners within like the span of an hour.
So I think we're all guilty, right? Sometimes you buy something out of curiosity or boredom. We've talked about that at length many times here, right? And sometimes you're just so you're just kind of curious, right? So Dust had gotten 2 of the Zeta bots that were duplicates for one reason or another. So he was going to put it up, and I told him, I'll take it. I'll just pay you for the retail. Just bring it to the show, right? So you don't have to ship it or anything. And I'm not in on the set. You guys know my robot collecting is very obscure, and I don't put full teams together. And I just, I think I just wanted to see the toy, and kind of mess with it a little bit. And he's been doing that really good kind of show on his channel with the fresh out of the box impression, right? So he brought it, and Jose and we opened it at the table there. And I was like, nope, it's not for me. I thought it would be more fun. I'm not committed to the set. I know everyone's excited about building the Superion, but I'm like, yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. And it was the Red Fireflight, so it was one of the ARM bots. But I was like, okay, this is fine. So I'm promptly put it back in the styrofoam. Like I barely took it out, right, Jose? Like we didn't transform it or anything. We literally just kind of took it out, and then I was trying to rehome it. So
we're walking the con to go to lunch, and Gary's like, Dave, this is yours. And I was like, no, it's not. The fuck you talking about? Like, don't worry, you pay me when you can. Just take it. I was like, Gary, I don't want this right now. I'm not going in on this set yet. And he's like, no, you want it. You taking it. Take it. Don't worry. I'll give you a deal.
It was almost going to be more fun to me to just gift it to somebody. Either it was going to get gifted to Dave or to Bricks, because neither one of them really wanted it, or to go in on the set, you know what I mean? And I know that would have made Dave want to get the other 4. So it was kind of funny. But no, it worked out good. It was, Gort was interested in it for, like, sincerely. I was like, I gave him a real good price. I was like, hey, just go buy Mythic Legions. We'll swap, make a trade, and then just talk it up to the community for stuff. But it was pretty funny that, just when you have that impression, you get excited or you're not excited. I was like, yeah, I don't really want to take this thing home because I'm not going to do anything with it except wait and bring it to NJCC. So I was like,
yep.
You're telling this story all fucking wrong. You fucking gave it to me. You made me put it in John's car because you didn't want to hold it anymore. Okay?
I didn't want to take
You're
it.
taking it. You told me. Put it in. You gave it to somebody else who put it in the car. And by the time we got to lunch, you're like, I need that toy back. Take it out the car. I got rid of it. It's on the board. That's how. And we was like, okay, it's you. Like, geez.
But it does
Dust to Gary to Dave to Gort.
Yeah.
No, back to Gary to Gort.
But it is interesting, just aside from that particular thing, how everyone has a different reaction and stuff that you like. So I opened the Magic Square Prime and really liked it quite a bit. A lot of similar traits that other Zeta bot, but it just didn't do anything for me. At the same time, I opened the Black Ferrari from DX9, I don't know, a week and a half ago, and I freaking love it. It's like awesome. So I think you can tell right away if something's for you or if it's not, so. That's
interesting, and keep a pin on that, because I want to come back to that with another topic of discussion that we have for tonight. I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts. But real quick, we did after lunch. We all got some Jersey Turnpikes. I'm not sure if anybody else got anything else, but Bricks was selling the sandwich to us. It was pretty good. He took us to eat, and then we actually got to go to his shop afterwards, the Warminster Brick Shop, where he sells Lego out of. So what do you guys think of his spot? It was awesome being able to actually go and see it in person.
It was impressive.
Yeah,
I was impressed. Like everybody was like ready to leave, like as soon as we got there and all that stuff. We go on the tour, and then we're hanging out and talking. I wanted to like stay and hang out for a little bit, and everybody's like, yo, we're going back. So then, it was just kind of like, I didn't get enough time there. I wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really awesome. I'd never been there, you know what I mean? So
it's a nice, cool shop. I mean, we have a Lego store like here in the city. But I think it's impressive, like for him being like an independent shop owner, that he's able to sell that stuff as like his livelihood, which shows that Lego does have a following out there.
Oh, it does.
That's especially in a spot like the one he had. That's a destination area. Like that's not something like me and you are used to city life. We walk down the block, there's stores all over the place. You could just walk by a spot and be like, oh, what's this? And walk in. He doesn't have that luxury. You have to drive there. So the fact that he actually gets enough business where people are going to his shop, actively going to his shop, and he's able to make a living off that, pay employees and stuff like that, I found that really impressive. And then he gave us a tour of the back room. He said he has over 1 million different Lego pieces back there. It's like, holy shit, impressive.
It's the organization of it is just it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's just it's crazy.
It's pretty impressive. Like how he merchandises that front that storefront part and gets all of that merch in there. It's very dude. Briggs is a smart dude, man.
Yeah, I think so. I truly respect any private independent business owner. I give him all the credit in the world for putting his energy into making that venue profitable and successful. But I think it's most impressive that he is clearly able to separate, his enjoyment or what he likes about Lego, and it doesn't affect his business savviness for it and how he approaches it. His perspective is very, it's very compartmentalized, I think, as it needs to be, where so many people who try to take their passion and turn it into a business lose that line and end up making decisions that aren't good business decisions or driven by emotion. And again, just fascinating to see how he's got it organized and just what he's built there, and how he's got, the public, basically customers, doing a lot of the work for him in terms of bringing trades and products, for him to look at and decide if he wants to take it in. It's great. It's really smart.
Yeah. I was really impressed. I think Jose touched on what we were talking about back on the drive home. Dude, people may not know it. He's under 30 years old. I forget his age, but to accomplish what he has, at that young age, and to have a store, and to, like Jose said, have employees that he's actually paying, and I'm impressed by that. Like, that's just dope. Like, dude, like, keep doing your thing. I hope you expand. I hope it gets bigger. The store itself was cool. Like, I enjoyed being in it. Like, I'm not a huge Lego guy, but I actually enjoyed looking at the stuff that was in there. He has a little section when you walk in, a little like cheap pieces, like I guess for like kids to play with and put together their own little Legos at cents and dollars for the pieces. So he's giving back to the community that's there too. I mean, people are coming there to like kind of like spend some time there, not just rush in and out. They're in there, they're playing with the stuff, they're looking at other things. The warehouse for me was like, holy moly, like what is this? Like, I mean, rows upon rows of Legos individually numbered with these tiny little plastic drawers. And it was a sight to behold. Like, I was just like floored by that. I was like, cause I'm in the logistic world, and like, just to be back there and see a warehouse full of fucking Legos, I was like, holy shit. Like, dude's really doing his thing.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the coolest thing. I'm glad we went. I really am.
Yeah. I'm impressed too. Like, just the fact that you could run that just off that one property. Like, I remember, just working in the hobby shop back in the day. We had action figures, we had comic books. It was Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, like so much shit. And it was hard to get by. You know what I'm saying? And he is in that lane of just selling this one product, and has tons of merchandise there. Not to. You're not even counting what he has in the back that nobody sees. I mean, just the stuff that he had on the shelves, everything there in front of you. Pretty awesome. And even with us there and all of us there hanging out, and he gave us a tour, you saw the other customers in the store.
Yeah.
So that was impressive to see, man. It's nice. It was nice to see that. Kudos to that dude.
That Ewok village. What?
Oh yeah.
What? I was tempted. I was like, if I eventually finish this room and have a corner, that I might actually do that. Like, you know what I mean? Just to have at least a Lego piece and something I really care about, like right there. That was dope.
All right. So to put a bow on it, we wound up going back to the show, probably made a couple of more passes, and then called it a day. And all went our separate ways and stuff. Do they do Zola Con more than once a year?
It's just once a year.
Yeah. It's a once a year show. All right. So at least, we know for next time, we have time to plan, obviously. And
it's always
obviously. Yeah, we could make it a bigger thing for next year's show, and maybe make it a 2-day thing where we go to the show, or maybe even go there the night before and get to hang out, do stuff, enjoy the show that day, and then do whatever we got to do. But I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed getting to see you guys. The whole BTM crew was in the house, so I love that. It was good times. It definitely was good times. So Gary, to bring it back to what you were talking about with that Firefly figure and having disappointment right out of the box, like when you were checking that figure out, you mentioned in the chat something else, and I think it's an interesting topic to talk about because we touched on it last week. I think at this point last week, the MP45 Bumblebee wasn't completely revealed. There were just some tidbits of news about maybe the figure was coming and a rumored price of $120. I think there was a little fuzzy photo out there, and I think we touched on it last week. But after last week's show, I mean, the gates have been opened. There was a toy show over the weekend. We have Toy Fair coming this weekend, so I'm looking forward to all those reveals. But we got a closer look at MP45, the Bumblebee. And you know what? I've seen different reactions. It's been hit or miss from like a lot of people. We did touch, I think, on the price last week, but now that it's been fully revealed, I think we could talk a little bit about it. I want to get everybody's opinions. But Gary, I want to hit you up first because in the chat, and maybe the Bumblebee was the catalyst to it, but you kind of let us know. You said you were pretty much done with Takara MPs. What is it? Is it the new Toon aesthetic? Is it this figure in particular that you're like, that's it, no more? So,
I mean, if you guys know anyone who's met me, knows enough that, I'm pretty fluid in collecting and interests and I'm more about characters and versus teams and seasons and series and all that kind of stuff. So I really pick and choose. So when Takara started going to the anime look, I was like, I can appreciate some of it in terms of like the Inferno and the grapple look. But I always liked Prowl better, like the original Prowl, because it did look a bit more, mature to me, and kind of fit more of a updated version of that character, but still reminded me of the cartoon. I didn't need this hardcore, Toon aesthetic. I had the, Lavender Wave, Shockwave. And I've had the very first Fans toys, Quake Wave, to compare, and liked certain things about them. But the Bumblebee component, I think, really for some reason, it just comes back to me like your first reaction, right? So you go to a restaurant, they serve your food, you have a first reaction when you look at the plate. You go maybe when you're dating and it's a blind date. After you've been talking to somebody, perhaps, just right, you have a first reaction. It's no different. You buy a car, you see it, you kind of have an initial reaction to it. And once I saw the pictures, I had a reaction like, okay, it's not for me. I'm not interested in it. But I also realized if Takara is going to continue to just do these main people and just keep repainting and rechanging stuff in terms of coloring, like my interest in that is really not there. And it kind of just sparked a little bit of, a different interest in me that maybe I'll pick and choose, continue to pick and choose the characters that, I like or have maybe a sentimental reason to me based on that versus anything that has to do with the show or, the nostalgic piece, I guess, as far as that goes. But I just found it interesting that I had a stronger reaction to it than I've had to anything else that's come up really, where I've been kind of just either ambivalent to it or open-minded to it.
Yeah.
So Gary, I mean, are you looking past perhaps what some may consider the awesomeness of this figure simply because it's a character redone? You're like, oh, Bumblebee again.
Maybe that's probably possibly part of it, Brian. You're right, because I mean, look, the characters gets done and done and done in every configuration. But then the more I actually looked at it, I'm like, I just don't like how it looks. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. Like my initial reaction, it just I don't really like it. So I feel like I'm rambling on topics, but like the Magic Square Prime, I really like how that looked. As soon as I opened the box, I just really liked how it looked. The finish. Call it flat, call it matte, call it a paint with a sparkle, whatever it is. Like I liked how it looked. And, I was surprised how much I liked it. Dave, when I was at your house and you opened up that quarter scale Leonardo, Ninja Turtle, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, like I was infatuated with that thing, seeing it live open. Right. And then when we did your DTOS a couple months ago, I was still messing with it and looking at it again. And that was a surprise. My initial, emotional response. So this thing's really cool. I really like this. But yeah, once I saw more of the pictures and just then kind of connected it back to the pattern where things are going, I'm like, that's okay. I don't have any anger or frustration or feel like I'm owed anything. I think I've realized that my interests are in other parts of the transforming robot genre, I guess, versus official Takara stuff.
It's funny that you say that, right? Because the way they're going at it now, it's almost like, no, we're telling you what you need in your collection, in some cases. But it's funny that you say that with the Magic Square Prime, because like people talk about Toon Tickles, like at the Dust Mites term, but
right.
Is there like a nostalgia nudge or something? Like what's the other turn of phrase that you can use, some kind of alliteration? But it's like MPO1, when I took that out of the box, I was like, oh my god, this is what I always thought it would be. When I took Magic Square Prime, I took Magic Square Prime out of the box, I was like, oh my god, this is exactly how I imagined it. Same thing with the older masterpieces like Prowl and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, that's what it is. Kind of. This is what it would be if it not necessarily jumped off the screen, but like it jumped off the screen and turned into real life, like that Kid Video stuff. Like, you ever watch Kid Video as a kid?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was impressed. Chuck brought his Magic Square Prime to the show. That was the first time seeing it in person, and it just goes to show that old adage, and I'm a true believer of it, that sometimes pictures don't always do something justice. You could see something in the photo and be like, yeah, that looks nice. And I always thought the Magic Square Prime looked nice. I just didn't like the see-through matrix in the window. I just would have liked it if they would have just made that blue or whatever. And I know there's a fix for it. But when I took that out of his bag, I was like, holy shit, this looks good. And the fact that it didn't have that gloss or whatever, I know Gary, you just touched on it, it has that matte finish or whatever. It didn't bother me at all. I'm like, this looks fucking excellent. And I was going to be out, but now I feel like I need to pick that thing up, so it was a good piece. But then seeing this MP44, like, I want to ask you guys, because I remember when everybody was fucking going in on tracks because of his fucking see through his backpack. But if you look at that figure, it looks damn near perfect. It was just a backpack that was throwing people off. And if people were roasting that shit over that, how could you get over this one? From the front, no doubt, Bumblebee looks good, looks toon accurate. When you're seeing the Sunbow photo, compared to this, I'm like, damn, they did a good job. They're giving you different faces. It looks a little bit more animation accurate, but then you get to those feet, what I'm saying? You get to the back. And again, I was never one to be like, whatever. If the back is what it is. But there was a point where Masterpiece looked good in both robot mode and in alt mode. It looked perfect in robot mode and alt mode. And now it seems like they're sacrificing that. Like that, to me, that's not acceptable. If people were bitching about tracks, like, how can you give this a pass? You know what I'm saying? Do any of you guys feel that way? Were any of you guys in that boat when tracks came out?
Yeah. That, I mean, it was a little janky, that toy. You know what I mean?
And that's same with me.
The best. I mean, in my opinion, like, they could have done. I thought they could have done better. Like, it felt like something was missing. The dude looked like he had a hole blew through him. You know what I mean? Like, I get that people complaining about the backpack and all that.
Yeah,
but we're talking 4 years ago with that thing, something like that, right?
Yeah, that's about right.
We're 4 years now in the making, and you're right. This is they're supposed to be stepping their game up, and yeah, it looks more cartoonish, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
the articulation is better, but you're seeing the kibble. Like, the kibble
where's the masterpiece aspect of it? It's
exactly, Dave. I agree with you.
Like, it's supposed to be the best of the best Transformer you can get.
It's the same formula, right? It just looks like they're just, hey, fold everything up together. Just fold everything up. There's no creativity in the engineering from what it looks like.
Hey, you know what? Let's
creativity.
Get rid of some of the line work. Let's make it a little more round. Let's give it more vibrant colors and give it fucking different facial different faces so it can smile and scream and fucking be mad or whatever the case may be. And
I love all that.
You got what the fuck you wanted. But and you look at those feet. And I'm not one to be in these groups and comment, but the first time I saw those feet, I said those feet are hard to look at. And I had somebody hit me up, and I think it was Matthew Billings. I know all of you probably have come across that guy before. Oh, well, I feel like these feet are he posted the original one are even harder to look at or something like that. And then somebody commented on
it. But they look cleaner. That's bullshit because they look cleaner.
Right.
They're fucking cleaner. They're bigger. but they're clean.
Right. Somebody commented on him and go, people just like to find something wrong with, improvement on figures. I felt like continuing, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not about this life. I'm not going to sit here and chat up with these fucking dudes. I could do it with my friends on fucking Tuesday. And that fucking figure, the feet look like fucking shit. The inside of the feet look like shit, and the back of the feet look like shit. No. So if that piece was fixed, like if that was, all it came through together and you could just see a fucking foot and not see all the fucking pieces that are going on within it, I think the figure would have got a pass from me, regardless of the backpack. I know people are complaining about the backpack, but it's true. I'm not going to really fucking focus on the back because I don't face my figures fucking going backwards. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. I know where they made it too. They made the figure because people were complaining about the original one, that the original one wasn't cartoon accurate and the color was off.
And so the movie just came out.
And you give it a better face. I almost would have preferred them to have done what they did to every other figure that they're doing. Like the fucking what's the other one they just did?
The plus figures, just kind of repainting them to tune accurate colors.
They just fucking took the same thing, rounded out the fucking thing, changed the colors, and it's the same fucking transformation, same fucking toy. I would have preferred them to do that to this B, give us a better face, give us, a little bit of an update on it, then give us this thing that, it doesn't look like a masterpiece to me. It looks like fucking shit. The feet look like shit.
Yeah. Dust brings up a point in the chat. He says everyone is making their decisions and never even held the damn toy. Tons shit all over MP36 Megatron, which is true. I can remember that when people were first seeing the pics and seeing kind of like all the kibble in the neck area and seeing like the sculpt breaks like in the legs and stuff like that. People weren't the happiest. And then he's like, 80% of those haters own the fig, 15% own the KO. LOL. Hashtag Transformers fans. But I get that. Sometimes like I just said with that Magic Square Prime, it looked good in photos, but sometimes even the photos don't do the figure justice. Sometimes you get it in hand and you could change your mind. Do you think this might be another piece that might do that?
Well, it's
like once you get it in hand, you might change your mind despite how the feet and the backpack look.
Well, it's not out yet, so they have time to change that. You know what I mean? Why are you rushing something that people are already complaining about?
At this point, I don't think it's going to be changed. But Dave, I do agree with you because back in the day, like let's say just MP10. You know what I'm saying? Like before we're getting this Magic Square Prime and the new MP44, people thought MP10 was going to be the best representation of Prime we're going to get. And even compared to MP01, hell yeah, that shit looked a shitload better than MP01.
And Brink over there.
Hey, but Brink, I feel you, dude, because when I fucking walked into that Toys R Us and I saw MP01 when that shit was on sale, I'm like, that's fucking Optimus Prime. That's the Prime I always wanted. But of course, as time moves on, shit gets better. And Dave, I agree with you. Like, listen, I'm all for that extra articulation. I fucking love it. I'm all for the accessories. I'm all for the extra faces. But it looks like, and Jay Ruse brought it up on an old ETR when we were talking about the Sunstreaker. And I remember I was going back and forth with him about that shit. But now I might be coming around to his point of view. It seems like they're sacrificing sculpt for the playability, the posability. Like, are you guys okay with that? Or does it depend on who the character is?
Again,
that's up to the that's up to the collector. I think if you are a collector who will like to articulate your toys and pose them and play with them, then I think that's where they're going with it. And that's the new thing that they did with Optimus and with Megatron, and so they're just going to continue that articulation factor is what's important to them. And
why couldn't they have made this cliff jumper for something variety and then made B like the mold mate as what's probably going to happen?
Yeah,
and offer something different besides a Bumblebee.
I'm sure, but if scope is important to you, then you gotta go that route. You gotta stay on that road and look for toys that give you that scope look and don't compromise on articulation for it. So. because sometimes sculpt gets in the way of articulation. We all know this,
especially with these blocky robots.
I mean, I get it, but then look what Magic Square did with the Prime. That is a super clean, like looking figure compared to like look at the MP44 that's coming out, and we could only go by pictures. We don't have the figure in hand. Both, but you could see that the Magic Square Prime looks a lot cleaner than the Sakara version. No.
Yeah, 100%.
And it doesn't look like articulation or anything was really sacrificed. It looks like that Prime you could kind of get any pose you want out of it. Maybe the Sakara will give you a little more. I don't know. It's not out yet. I guess we'll see when that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I did not see really anything wrong with that. Like I remember Jay Ruse complaining about underneath the neck and the way it looked from the top down in the shoulder area. And I'm like, yeah, but if they're giving you that extra articulation, I mean, that's what it is. But this Bumblebee, I mean, those feet, like I feel like, you couldn't add a panel to kind of clean up the sides, the insides of those feet, just to cover that up so you don't see the wheel and all that messiness. And then when you see it from the back, just the way those windows are just kind of flat like that. Like, I don't know. Like again, I'm not an engineer, so I can't say I could do better, but I just feel like masterpiece. It's supposed to be masterpiece. So it's supposed to be the best representation. And I just feel like they're not going all the way. We're getting better articulation, better accessories. Maybe the toys overall are better, but the look is there's something's being sacrificed.
Yeah. I mean, I will applaud them in accomplishing the ability for us to have a tangible cartoon figure. Because that's what it's meant to be. The one thing that I'm mad about, or not mad, but upset, is like I'm trying to fill out this shelf, and they just put out a figure that doesn't fit in my collection, and I'm gonna miss out on this toy because of it. And I'm a little upset about it.
Yeah,
and I don't need it. Man.
And that's another point I wanted to bring up, because like look at what they're doing. Okay, so we're getting some of these 2.0, 3.0, well 3.0 when it comes to the Optimus, but we're pretty much going to be guaranteed to get newer versions of masterpieces they've released in the past. But then look what they're doing. They're also repainting some of the older masterpieces in this plus version, but the aesthetic, regardless of the tune coloring, the aesthetic is still a little bit more realistic than some of these more tune accurate pieces that we're getting. So to me, even though the color on them looks better, the sculpts don't match. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I could understand Gary's kind of point of being like, and he always cherry picked figures before. He never got the whole line on anything, but I almost feel like people are going to be doing that with the masterpiece now, because even with these plus versions, tune colored versions, the aesthetic doesn't fit. You got a super tune looking like now Bumblebee, but look at that blue streak. That shit looks a little bit more realistic, like the way the old Bumblebee looked, the way the Prowl looked, the way the old masterpieces look. They look different. You know what I'm saying? So can you put those on the shelf and be happy with that, with those two kind of different looking aesthetics? I don't know. Like, I feel like if you're going to go in this new direction, go all the way. You know what I'm saying? I could understand it's a cost-cutting measure. Maybe a blue streak, not as popular. So why make a new figure? Just repaint it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if you're going to go with this new look, go all the way, because then not all the figures are going to match. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Yeah. I guess that's more a dilemma for the completionist, because I always felt like I'm just going to pick the characters I like, that I really like, and I don't feel like I have to get every single one. But for those that are all in, I think that might be a problem for them.
I have a feeling that they've done more than what we've seen already, and they've done that to all of them, or close to all of them, because you're gonna drop a Optimus Prime, right, and then you're gonna drop a Bumblebee, because that's like a given. It's his little sidekick. You need a fucking you need a Bumblebee. That's why they did it. That's why they're pulling out. That's why they didn't do Cliff Jumper first. They're gonna do fucking Bumblebee first, because he goes with the new Prime. And then, you know what? Let's slip in this fucking this blue streak, because let's see how that goes. And then, all right, cool. Now we'll release the rest of the fucking molds the same way, because people are buying it. That's just their scheme. That's what they're doing. And I don't hate this B, so don't quote me on hating it. I think, like Jose, you said, the articulation, I think it's fucking sick. He's holding a gun with two hands. That looks great. But then when you look down and you're like, fuck, I'm gonna pay this much money for something. I'm gonna pay $100, $100+ for a fucking toy that looks like that at the end of it. Like, you know, like it's all fucking janky at the bottom. Like it's gonna be 80% okay. Like, no. Like, Takara, masterpiece. Make it a fucking masterpiece. Make it a toy that we're all gonna be talking about for the fucking next 10 months.
Yeah.
Don't come out with shit.
We'll definitely be talking about it for 10 months.
Yeah. So before I say what I'm gonna say, I want everybody to understand I love you all.
Yo, JD, I didn't say anything yet, so
but
so please keep me out of this rant.
So I am a Transformers fan. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Transformers. I would have never met a lot of you or all of you, one way or the other. We're all fans, but we're being suckered. It's a fucking business. They keep making, like, if you look at all their lines, like between Hasbro and Takara, they make the same figures over and over and over and over and over. We're being suckered.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
We're never. I mean, with Transformers just has such a catalog of characters. Like, and in Chug, maybe we'll get them, but MP, there's no way we're gonna get every single character, not from official. Which is, you know, thankful. We got third party to kind of fill in those gaps. But it does suck because, like, how awesome would it be to get an official clip jumper? Maybe it's coming. You know, who knows? But look at all these years that have gone by. We haven't got it yet.
A Hound is coming.
Well, the Hound is coming finally, and that's you know.
Do you guys think that, you know, they go back to these characters just to generate some revenue to do these other characters?
You got the money. Stop your question at for the revenue. Right. Period. Question mark.
It's all for the revenue.
It's a fucking cash grab.
Yeah, it's all for the revenue. But Dom,
of course, guys, yes, it's a cash grab. There's called cash cows, and then there's stars, and there's, if you learn all the four quadrants of what products are, and in regards to Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, they're cash cows.
Yep.
They're going to make them money. They know that they're going to make them money. A Hound, a Blue Streak, a Trailbreaker, they're not cash cows for them. So for them to do those figures, they need to make their cash cows. Cash cows need to exist, and they need that capital to go do those one-off adventures that might not make the margins or make the dollars that you would typically get from those other characters.
All right, but my rebuttal to that is you got third-party companies doing it nowhere near as big as the Takara Tomy as far as probably the money that they have invested in the business or what they have bankrolling just the business in general. And they're doing these obscure characters and selling them and still coming out with more. So maybe Takara Tomy has a threshold of we want to sell 50,000 units, and third party is okay with selling 5,000 units.
I want to compare third party companies to Takara. I wouldn't even put it. They have a lot more overhead. They have a lot,
right. And they have bureaucracy.
Why would you try to fund something then if you have all that fucking that shit? You know.
Oh, you have to pay for that shit. You have to.
There's
a certain turnaround. There's a certain payback period that they have.
They're the biggest toy company in the world.
Don't you think? Okay, we're all like JD said, we're all Transformers fans, and we're all beasting for this shit. But don't you think that that even if it's that core fandom and it's not that mainstream, that they're gonna make maybe the money at least back?
Transformers is not their top seller, though. Transformers is never their top seller. It's like number fucking 28 on their fucking list.
If they made other characters, it might be their top seller.
No way.
Just imagine
sure.
It doesn't have the demand. It doesn't have the demand that other toy lines have.
Right, but imagine if Takara would have kept to their fucking guns at the beginning and came out with every fucking G1 figure. That was
it would have cost them.
They would have taken over the market. Their third party wouldn't be what it is.
Exactly. I agree. I agree with that. But
coming out with the same fucking molds, repainting them, and then changing the aesthetic completely.
Okay,
and then
Dave.
And then you're gonna get the same fucking 20 characters.
In a perfect world, when you don't have fucking stakeholders and you don't have fucking people that need a dividend, at the end of the day, the question is okay, how much do you want to invest in this? How much is it going to take to make all those figures? Oh, it's going to take $1 billion. Well, how much am I going to get? How fast can I recoup that money? And what profit am I going to make? And if it's going to be like, oh, in 20 years, I ain't doing that.
Well, Tom, tell the motherfuckers to stop being greedy because we need the characters that we want.
And you feed it.
Yeah,
by continuing to buy their shit.
See, but then how do third party companies stay viable? Making characters that are a little bit more obscure, maybe won't sell as much, but they make them and they sell and they make more figures.
So Lau Martin says in the chat, Takara has designers on staff and manufacturing plants of their own. Third party should actually cost more. They have to hire all of that out. And he's right. Takara is price gouging the shit out of this stuff. They're just upping and upping and upping. I mean, I understand the engineering and all that stuff, but that's all people they have in-house. It does not, like, Keith releases the Stunticons. That first one was $40 fucking. He made a killing off of that alone.
So
it doesn't cost them $100. I mean, it doesn't cost them anywhere near $100 to make this fucking bee.
No, because they're making more volume. They're making more volume. More volume will reduce your unit price. And at the end of the day, third party can't produce more volume because
you're missing the point. It doesn't cost them that much to make this bee. Like if they made one of them, it didn't cost them that much to make it. It didn't cost them that much to, it's not $440 for the fucking Prime.
JD's right, because they stopped like halfway through the production. When they got to the feet, they just said, you know what, let's put
it out. Well, Red in the chat said it's an easy pass for him. Like, I mean, people have mixed opinions. Like, there's some people that like it. They said they're going to pick it up. Some people said they like the toon look. The feet's not really going to bother them. Like, the extra stuff that they're going to get, they could kind of look past the sculpt. So it is interesting. It's a mixed bag here. Like there's people that feel either way on it.
Like I would love to do the Prime. I would love to do the Bumblebee, but I'm not. No, they keep jacking the price up. I mean that like when Megatron came out, that was the beginning.
And those people could have their feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I didn't find this figure to be completely fucked up, right? And if I get it for the right price, I might buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking all this shit about the feet, but I might buy it because at the end of the day, there's not a Takara product that I haven't bought. So JD, I'm feeding into their shit. But that's if I get it at the right price. Am I gonna pay the fucking the retail price for it? No way.
No, not a full 120. Pay that Amazon JP price.
Right, exactly.
Even still.
Wait till somebody flips it, because you know what, I got one right there that's doing the job. I don't play it every day.
Yeah, well, that's what
picked it up in months.
Yeah, I mean that's what Red said. He said the old one is good enough, I guess, and maybe some people will make that decision. They'll feel like, I don't need to pay 120 for this. The other one is doing its job on the shelf.
Well, that's the conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago in regards to this stuff is going to come out. These 2.0s are going to come out, and it's going to be up to you on whether you want to dish out the cash to upgrade your figure. Yeah. And if you don't, you don't. And you're winning because you're sticking with what you're preferring and what your preference is. So if they pushed out a toy that hit all your check marks and check the boxes, and then you should buy it, and that's probably what you will do. But if you don't, then don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't feed into the monster that that I guess you guys are saying that they are.
I'm not calling them a monster. I mean, it's all opinion shit, man. I just feel like compared to that old style of Masterpiece where like it was that perfect blend. It was
things change.
Yeah,
Get over it.
It looked good. It looked good. But now, like I said, the Trax is the most obvious example for me because I feel like that figure looked good. All you could really shit on it for is really like that backpack, but the look of it looked good. And then if people are gonna shit on that backpack, it's like, how does anybody like this? How is anybody giving this the pass?
I love Trax. I love the toy. I'm happy that I have a Trax or a representation of a Trax.
Yeah, I remember that shit was so big when that shit came out. Because again, it's like, oh, this is supposed to be masterpiece. This is supposed to be the best fucking version we get. And it was just that. Just the fact that, that you saw a gap in that fucking backpack, which me personally, I didn't even feel was like that bad. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? But now you look at this, those fucking feet on this. And to me, like Dave, like you said, I don't completely hate this figure. There are things I like about it. Mm-hmm. But you, I feel like those feet are almost like unforgivable. Like, how do you just do that? Like, how do you do that?
You know, it's funny today.
Looks like junk.
Today we learned that Jose has a bit of a foot fetish. That's why. That's why this Bumblebee's really rubbing him the wrong way.
Usually not with action figures, but goddamn, man, those
do you guys like the face sculpt? Do you like the face?
I know,
yo, dude. Like I feel like the chest looks way better because it's more tune accurate. Yeah, the head looks better because it's more tune accurate. It looks like there's aspects of that figure that it's like, okay, you're like, yeah, but the feet, and then you look at it from the side. Where back in the day, they did their best to make these figures look as clean as possible. And now it's just like, nope, there you go. Just fucking flips and folds and no hiding it. Just whatever. It's there. You know what I'm saying? And that's supposed to be okay. Like, I don't know.
We're not talking about the car mode. The car mode looks dope.
Great. Yeah.
Car mode looks
nice
great.
Little penny racer.
They hit it on the mark with that. You know, it looks better than the original. The original didn't really look like.
Now, do you think they compensated just saying, let's hit the car mode on this one, and then
no, but who the fuck fucking wants to fucking is gonna buy the Transformer for the alt mode? Come on.
Hey, come
on.
Mind the minority.
Come on, man.
I bought the original B. I bought an extra one just so I have
I would. When it comes to Bumblebee,
you're buying an extra.
That alt mode is
who made that?
You're buying an extra because you want to display an alt mode, but you're not buying the figure because of the alt mode.
Hey,
you're
like,
that fucking car mode
have a following.
They played hell getting that license. I wanted one for that fucking car mode.
Who made that little one that Dust brought this weekend to the show?
Toy World?
New Wave.
Oh, Flipper.
The New Wave.
The New Age.
New Age. Upscale that looks shit. That shit'll fucking take the top lead.
Yeah. And listen, the price for me with this figure doesn't factor in. There's inflation, shit goes up. We are getting more as far as articulation, accessories, and stuff like that. You know what? The price is the price. So anybody that kind of feels off about that, it's like, hey, it is what it is. But as far as the aesthetic, I could get people's gripes about that.
They could be running. I mean, they think they're running the show. For the most part, they are running the show, but they could really take the lead in this. Like, if they, fucking B should be no more than $60.
Right.
Shouldn't be any more than $60.
Yeah.
They had it right around there.
I didn't buy that first version for the longest time because I'm like, this shit is tiny. Why am I gonna fucking pay $80 for this? I think I paid 40 or 45 for mine. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to pay that for something this size.
What's the question? Where would you see third party in 5 years? Would you say cheaper than the official?
Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy, right?
In the back of my head, I'm hoping that something JD said a few shows ago comes to fruition, which was Magic Square comes out with every fucking figure.
I'm waiting.
I'll cherry pick the ones that I want from that line, and hopefully they match. If they don't match, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm doing the same. I'm like,
do you guys feel like Magic Square, like, due to the fact that they're like that Optimus is on like $100, $120, but like people have been saying, like, the plastic quality is not up to, what we would typically normally get from other companies like Fans Toys or.
Wait till you get your Prime and tell me how that paint holds up.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying about paint. I'm not saying plastic. Jesus. Do you think, if they provide, like, is that where they cut their costs, where they used a lesser, cheaper plastic?
No, it doesn't.
No
cost that much to make a figure.
I mean, I couldn't tell anything with a quick few seconds I had my hands on it as far as plastic quality, but I loved the sculpt, the aesthetic. It felt solid to me in hand. I can't complain.
I have it. I determine, I can feel that the plastic is a little different than a Fans Toys or a Takara. So, and I've watched other reviews and other people saying that plastic, and it's a very light figure. So when people hold masterpieces and they're heavier, they feel that heft is the wealth in that figure.
I could get that. A
lot of people, and I can it's a different take. It's a whole different world where what Magic Square is going into. Yeah. They're going into simplistics, able to do the articulation as much as possible, and then keep it smooth and streamlined. And
they're not sacrificing anything.
Well, they're not. They're sacrificing the quality of the plastic.
No.
Well. Now that you bring that up, the quality of the plastic. Fucking is it just something you feel like it's gonna break? Do you feel like it feels cheap?
I don't like that's
so people keep saying quality of the plastic just because something's different doesn't mean it's that bad. It's
the
exactly.
Plastic is great.
Doesn't mean it's better than the quality.
I'm gonna tell you, Gary. Though different plastics cost more different money. Like using a more sturdier, harder plastic costs more money. In regards to making a figure.
No, and different plastics have different chemical properties. Like I get that part of it, but everyone keeps saying, "Oh, is it going to hold up?" I've yet to see someone report a broken Magic Square Prime. Yet every other person out there has issues with their Fans Toys Hydra when they try and do something more than make it look like a statue, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Despite the heft and the die cast,
correct,
makes it feel like
I'm just
more
saying
quality figure.
I'm sure they cut their costs by using a lesser plastic than.
But see, Dom, I don't think that it's not always about cutting costs. I think I'm sorry, JD.
You're good.
When you don't have the name brand attached to it, then that name brand it does add like value once you've earned it. And to the credit, Takara is the official. Right, Fans Toys has a huge following, so that name brand in whatever capacity gets more. Is it really that big of a difference between a Nike and a Reebok, right? Or a Nike and another brand shoe? I don't know. I don't manufacture shoes, but what do I pay more for Nikes?
I'm not disagreeing with there.
Gary, wouldn't the brand name itself also give you a high? I'm sorry, Dom, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the brand itself, isn't that worth something?
Yeah,
also? That's going to add.
That's what he's saying.
That's right.
But I'm not going there, guys. I'm saying the fact that that companies do things to keep their costs down, whether they factor of course. I'm sure Takara would love to not use if they're going to make a more articulated figure, they're going to use more articulated parts, which cost more money. So at the end of the day, they're going to spend the money to make that articulated figure and charge for it, whatever the case may be. Granted, if it's $60 or $100, whatever the case may be, they're going to put the price out there. Granted, yes, the name factor does take into account because they're the official, and people are going to want that official and that name. But in essence, it's about parts, pieces, and the cost of those things, and minimizing their cost to make out like a profit when they put that price up. Third party can't drive that price with their name because they're trying to get a customer base. They can't say, you know what, I'm going to charge $200 for this, because at the end of the day, people are going to trust me because I'm putting out good products. They have to build that loyalty. They have to build that name brand, which some of them have. Don't get me wrong, they have.
You also have to realize when it comes to third party, these are fans that want to make something. I mean, there's people that are selling their designs, and that's how they make some money. But without the bureaucracy and the overhead of working through a corporation, which is the reason why they have the freedom to do some of these things that are more in tune with, in line, So, but
and that all, at the end of the day, that's like, like when we talk to Darius, they're engineers, they're designers that would love to do the open, the rest of the whole world. Like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to add all these accessories. But then at the end of the day, they have to report and bring that to a conference room and say, "Hey, what are you laughing? What's wrong?"
Nothing.
You mean Agent H?
Bro.
You don't mean that?
Yeah, you should shout it. You're fucking half his government now.
Right.
Whatever. Everybody knows. Jesus fucking Christ. Gives you shit.
That's what happens when you don't eat carbs. You forget shit.
Agent H, okay. Agent H, I'm sorry.
Dom, relax.
See, but
code name. My name is D, guys. Don't call me by my real name.
See,
Please.
and I was looking at some comments from Gort, and it just fucking lost it because you know it only lets you see so much on the mobile. But he just brought up the fact that, like, is it a cash grab so bad if it's a company that you enjoy? They're putting out figures you want, and it's gonna make them continue to put out the figures you want. But then does put out another point. Like if it was a true cash grab, then they just would have repainted the fucking old one and put it out, and it wouldn't have cost them anything more. You know?
Yeah, but are they really giving us?
Are they really giving us the figures we
want? They're not we want a cliff jumper, right?
Yeah. Well, we're not getting we're not getting everybody that we want from Takara. That's definitely true.
Well, then, hey, they're just doing what they want. They don't give a shit.
But from Gort's point, he's saying that you need to embrace the company and buy their product. That if you don't like what they're putting out, then don't buy it. But if they're like,
that's it. That's it. No, I think that's and I will never criticize any business, any organization for making money. That is what they're trying to do, and if they do it through products or services, I will never question that, and I have zero issues with that. Make as much money as you possibly can. I'm simply saying that, just what you said, Dom. It's like, for me, in the beginning of the conversation, seeing where things went and what this one looks like for this B just kind of really, I think, just a pivotal point where I'm like, I don't have that much interest in this anymore, and so the brand, I'm not that curious. I liked how the Hound looked, so if that comes out and I like how it looks, I can get just that Hound and be happy with that, as that character. But I'm just saying it's certainly moved my interest into other places where I don't have the passion, I guess, for them anymore. They've lost me.
Yeah.
I mean, to like what you guys are just saying, like, you have the opportunity, you want to buy it, you buy it. You're saying they're making toys you want. Why not invest into a company that makes good but that's what we're arguing about. It's a company that's been around forever, and they're making a line called Masterpiece Transformers. And to the consumer, which I have consumed thousands of dollars of their fucking products, okay? So I had the right to fucking complain because the customer's always right. Okay? It doesn't look how I want it to look. Like, all right, cool, you made a new figure. You didn't need to make this figure, but you did. And a lot of it looks good, but it's not perfect. Why not just fucking make something perfect? Make it, stop with the complaint. Don't have anything for us to complain about, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And this toy that we're specifically talking about has a lot to complain about. Yeah. It's not just the feet, because people are complaining about the back. Then you got people saying that it's a fucking fake chest. Then you got people saying that his chin looks funny. We're Transformers,
motherfuckers shouldn't talk about fake chests, and they're fucking loving these Zeta combiners that have fucking faux parts to make it look great. If do whatever you got to do to fucking make the figure look as best as it could. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about the fake chest shit, but I do feel like, compared to certain standards that they had before, I feel like some things are getting better, but then some things are slipping.
They're choosing just a different road to go down. Like, they're making a change again. They're doing this articulated perspective. Like, they're going down more tune, more articulation. That's what they want to do. They're not keeping it streamlined. They're not keeping it like I think they're not doing, like, they're deviating from their Ironhide and their Inferno and their Grapple. Those were streamlined, very smooth figures. They might not have the articulation, but they were very smooth, cartoon accurate. No, but they don't have the articulation like the Megatron and the thing. So they made another change.
Yeah. Do you think like, I mean, just considering the fact Takara Tomy caters to that Japanese market, I know Autobots are more popular over there than Decepticons and whatnot. Do you even think that they're giving the American market, that basically the international market, any kind of thought when it comes to putting these things out? They might just be catering to that Japanese market, Japanese fan base. What do you guys think about that?
That would be more Victory and all that other Transformers and stuff if that was the case.
I think it's a trend that we're seeing a lot. I mean, we're seeing it with the Filmation Masters of the Universe stuff. Transformers.
But that like completely changed companies.
Turtles, things like that.
But no, before even Maddie had
I'm just
the
talking
classics.
about a trend. Yeah, JD.
They changed it to Filmations. They gave up classics and they went to Filmation before they lost the Master of the Universe.
Well,
line.
to be fair, Dom, Maddie had 2 lines running simultaneously.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
To keep their customer base for both, so they didn't switch it completely from one to the other.
But it was going there eventually. They would had it they filled the bucket of all the characters they possibly could done for classics, and then Filmations was just starting.
Yeah.
So like I said, I feel like if it's your cup of tea, then take it. Make sure you as a collector stay focused on what you want, what you're looking for. Because if you don't, then you're just disappoint yourself in what product you're buying. And it's challenging because at the end of the day, these companies tend to change focus and they change their direction that they're going, and they do that because they feel that the customer is changing, or the majority of the customers are changing, and that's what they do.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an interesting conversation to have. I mean, just the varying of opinions and how people feel. It's a hot topic, and especially if they're going to continue to put out these newer 2.0 masterpieces of some characters they put out before. Maybe some will be hit and maybe some will be missed, but it's interesting to see the varied reaction to this one. I don't think we saw that before, like when it came to, again, people bitched about that Megatron, but then they got in hand, they were like, okay. Even though there were certain things you didn't like about it, when you have these things in your hand, the opinion could always change. But I think the discussion is always valid to be had when we're in anticipation and when we see these things before they come out. Because the direction that they're going now, some people are happy, some are not. You know what I'm saying? So as they continue to go down that road, hopefully they improve. But we'll see, because I think it's going to be I feel like that Prime looks fucking excellent to me. Despite you could see the kibble or whatever, maybe not as clean as the MP10, but it's definitely a little bit more accurate as far as the cartoon looks. And it looks like they put the love into that. This one, maybe not so much, but that Hound, like somebody brought up earlier, looks fucking pretty damn good. I don't see a lot wrong with that one. So maybe these releases are just going to be hit or miss.
He's got flat feet too.
Yeah. But but it looks clean. It's not like I could fucking see all the junk on the inside of his fucking feet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Maybe people will change their minds once this thing actually comes out. Let me ask you guys though, down the line, who's in? Brian?
I am not in. So I'm not hating on the figure, but like I said earlier, it's not what I'm going for my collection. So
not enough for you to switch up.
Yeah, it's not something. It doesn't fit with everything else I have.
All right.
Yep.
Dom, you in?
Yeah, I'll probably get it.
I mean, we're all Transformers collectors, so it's almost hard to pass on a piece like this, whether you like it or not. But it's
if anything else, I would just the alt mode is, granted, if you were going for that, robot form and alt mode form, you could definitely use this as your alt form, the bug, form that you want it to be. So
yeah, for sure.
There's options there. So it's, at the end of the day, whether I pay, like Dave said, whether I pay $120 for it, I don't think so.
Well, we're all smart shoppers here.
I don't think I'm going to pay $120 for it, but if I can get it for $80, I'll be fine.
All right, cool. Dave, you in?
That means no.
So if I, like I said before, if it's for the right price, I'll check it out. I'll pick it up.
There's no urgency for me to grab this thing.
Right.
And I even have the old Toy World B that came out, like that sold out real quick.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
I like that alt mode on that vehicle, that Transformer. So it's like I said, I'm not in no rush. Take all the time you need, Takara. I don't need you right now.
Well, gee, I think I already know your answer, but just to make it official.
Yeah, nope, not for me.
I hate the Devil Company.
Them feet.
JD, what about you, brother?
Come on, JD.
No, that price, no.
Not at that price.
No, I just want everybody to think about something.
What?
The dollar store has a 50% markup.
Yes.
They have a toy section, right?
Yeah, they have a toy
the
section.
Toys are $1.
JD,
they have Transformers in there.
JD, considering your love for everything plastic, I find it very odd that that's the stance that you take in regards to
Why?
something that I don't know, because to me it's like, dude, no, I love it, I want it, and I'm gonna get it. And it's like, but when it comes to Takara, man, you've got it out for him, dude.
It's just the direction they're heading. That's all. It's like they're just doing stuff again. They started over again.
Well, we knew
without finishing anything, even in the 80s, like True G1. Did they ever finish it? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is anything ever finished, JD?
It's never. No, it's never. It's never gonna be. And you saw like how a few releases ago they started changing that aesthetic. But man, that fucking, despite the lack of detail, that Inferno looked fucking awesome. Like what else? The Ironhide, besides those hip skirts, not the best looking thing, but it looked decent.
But the funny thing is that like with those plus figures that are coming out with, like, they're pretty much turning your, the more detailed component, originals that came out that Brian loves, that particular, aspect of what they were doing in the beginning. But now they're taking that figure, streamlining the paint, making it very bland, and at lines with what they were doing with the Inferno and the Ironhide and the Grapple.
In a sense, yeah, but just because you're putting a different coat of paint on it is not taking any of the details away from the actual sculpt and molding of those figures. And the sculpt and molding of those figures do not match what direction they're going in.
I agree with it. I agree. Like sometimes with a nice flat paint, some of those details tend to go away from a shinier coat. Details that you can see.
For me, I didn't pre-order yet, but I probably will pre-order it because I'm going to be interested to check the figure out. Maybe I will change.
I'm buying it from Jose.
Exactly. You could always resell it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't transform that shit too many times.
I know. I'll be interested to maybe check it out. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't pre-order it because I feel like, I've been had one foot out of this shit already for months anyway. I'm in on that Optimus. Bumblebee, I feel like, don't need them. But we'll see when it gets a little bit closer.
Maybe you can sell your pre-order because you can cancel with it to like 2 weeks before it
drops.
I'll trade you for a Siege Jetfire.
Like Dust said, hashtag claim. All right, let's finish this up, man. I'm happy for the debate, though. I'm glad to hear all your opinions. And I'm glad we're not all on the same page about this. We all feel a different way about it. It'll be interesting to see once this piece actually comes out. I think since it's available on Amazon Japan, I think they'd put the release date at sometime mid this September. Am I correct?
Yep. September
18th or something like that. So it's about 8 months away, so it won't be too long. That'll be here before we know it. Do you guys want to wrap, or should we throw a question out to the chat for a little bit of fun? What do you guys think? Quick question.
Let's do a question.
Quick question. All right.
Yeah.
I got these guys. Let me bring my question up. Chat squad. Oh, hold on. Let me bring the chat squad up. Got to make sure I'm on point here. All right. My question for the chat. I'm not gonna make it as hard as JD's question last week. This is gonna be a soft one for
What
you.
pantyhose was that girl wearing on?
How do you know, Dom? Shit.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So my question for the chat: in the original live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, what was the one ingredient that Mikey did not want on his pizza?
That's too easy.
It is kind of easy, but whatever. Like I said, this is softball here. Let's see who answers correctly.
I would say, how much money did the kid steal out of April O'Neil's pocketbook? Booyah!
Damn, that would have been a good one. I don't even fucking remember. Was that a 20? Is that a 20 spot? Or you took?
I got a Ninja Turtle question too. Shit.
I think Gort got it, but I'm looking at the chat on my phone, so I'm not sure if anybody answered before him. So can you confirm that?
No one before him. Yeah.
Anchovies. Correct answer. So Gort, you got it.
Anchovies, dude.
No anchovies.
No anchovies. I mean, no anchovies. You put anchovies on this thing, you're a dead man, right? Like that was like one of the lines he was saying. I know he kind of stiffed them on the tip because he was like 2 minutes late with the too.
Wise man say, what is it?
Don't pay full price for late pizza. All right, Gort, you know how it goes. Pick a number, and you might get lucky. People put mushrooms. What else? What are the other answers here? Pizza, cheese. Really? He chooses number 22.
Host question. Sorry, Gort, you just missed it. It was 21.
Oh, damn. So close, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. All right, my question for you guys. It's an easy one. Well, maybe not. We'll see. But nothing provocative, Gary. Don't worry. But I just wanted to ask you guys: have you ever had a nightmare that stuck with you guys for a while, or can you remember just any instance where you had a nightmare and you woke up in a cold sweat from one? I want to hear some fucking nightmare stories right now. Can you guys remember anything that kind of stuck with you?
I always had like a dream that it starts off like a great, like where I just float out of my bed and I fly out my room and go down the hallway and out the window, but then I can't stop going up.
Oh, so it's like you're gonna go into space type shit, right?
So it's the opposite of real life.
Yeah, exactly. Gravity.
Dude, you weren't dreaming. You were just stoned, bro. What the fuck you talking about?
It starts really cool. You're like, oh, dude, I'm flying. Oh, this is great. And then you're flying in your house, and then you fly out the window. Dude, how do I get back down?
Yeah. I've had those too, Dom. That's funny because it's true. Like, who fucking doesn't wish they can fly, right? But then when you're doing that in the dream, and it's not like in an airplane or nothing, like I would be like, okay, I'm gonna get a running start. Let me fucking hop and fly. But then once I was like 30 feet in the air, I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And then that fear, not that that fear of heights, but when you're up in the air and it's just you, there's nothing holding you up. It was like, oh shit, boom, 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 boom. I've had dreams like that.
And there's another one. I don't know whether you guys. I wonder if you guys had this dream. Like you're ready to get into a fight, but you can't throw a punch. Like your arms weigh like 10,000 pounds. You can't throw a punch.
Dom, have you ever been in a fight?
What?
I've
never been in a fight.
Yeah, that's what your dream's telling you.
Oh, I'm good. No. I'm a nice person. You know,
Dave's gonna start a fight with him next time we hook up.
Hell no.
Dude, believe me, in the reality, I'm gonna be able to throw a punch.
I might kick him and run. He ain't catching me, but that's about it.
That's you. That's the only reason to wait.
Yeah, listen, you still ain't catching me with those fucking knees, bro. I'm crazy.
They're getting better.
I've had the same dream with the fighting thing. but usually I wake up and my arm's asleep. Like it's weird. Like I'll be dreaming, I can't do nothing with the arm in the dream, and I wake up and it's actually dead. Like
sleep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That one freaks me out a couple times because it's like, why could I not?
For me, I've had this dream a few times over years, and I think there's a meaning to it. I forget what it is, but like my teeth are like loose.
Oh,
yeah,
me too.
Like, teeth out and like
Everyone has that dream.
And it has meaning to it, but I've had those dreams before.
Like your teeth start falling out of your mouth, right?
Yeah. That's happened for me too. Like, I don't, I don't put too much stock, when people write this shit. Oh, when you dream this is what it means or whatever. No, you're just fucking dreaming.
It means you're smoking too much, Jay. So you gotta stop smoking.
But dude,
that's what that dream means.
I've had that too, and that fucking weirds you the fuck out because you'll just be like, go like this, and then your fucking tooth comes out, and then you fucking go back in, and your shit just is falling out, and then you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it makes, and then you might wake up and be like, oh, all right, thank God that was a dream,
Fucking hair. I've had dreams when I'm like,
Your hair falls out?
well, that nightmare is my reality, right?
I thought I had hair.
For me, it's like I can't remember like any kind of like crazy, scary nightmares in particular, but just the kind of like those dreams you have while you're falling from like a high place and fucking hit that ground, and you're just like, oh, and you wake up like. I think I busted my ass like one time back in the day. Like I fell off my bed. Maybe I was too close to the edge. But like I've plenty of times I've had those dreams and I've fucking like sat up and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
It's always while you're on your back.
Yep.
When you have those dreams, it's always while you're on your back.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
For me, I don't know. That's not really a nightmare. Because like I kind of enjoyed them, but it was like the gremlin
masochist.
Well, kind of in my dreams anyway. But no, like gremlins were a real thing, and they're just like running around murdering everybody except for me. Yeah.
So that's why you enjoyed it, because they let you live.
Pretty much. They're my friends, Mom.
I would have dreams that I can control the aliens from aliens, and I could, like, they'll listen to my command. Is that fucked up? And like,
they listen to you.
Yeah, like, I can tell them like to fucking like kill people and shit.
What kind of weed do you get in Jersey? You need to
Dude, some good fucking weed. You should come over.
I need some of those dreams.
We grow. Like, dude, I like commanding the aliens in Aliens. That's great.
Oh man, I had a dream recently too, like where, this happened back like a few years ago, where some dudes tried to jump me when I was walking home. You know what I'm saying, and I was able to get away from them. But I had a dream where it's almost like the same situation. Motherfuckers were gonna jump me, and I was like fighting them off and shit. But then of course, motherfucker pulled out a weapon and shit like that, and I'm like, oh well, that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I guess that's it. Like, I'm doing my best to fucking survive, but if that's what they're gonna fucking do, then it just is what it is. And I remember like waking up and I was like, since I've been in that fucking situation before, thankfully I got away. But I was like, holy shit. Like, it's just like, that's my philosophy with life in general. It's just like, if shit's gonna fucking happen, it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do what you can to try to like avoid bad situations. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, like, if you ever find yourself in a situation, it just is what it is. Like, I feel like, and do what you can to make sure you're okay.
Sorry, go. Sorry, go.
No, I was just say, so when you had that happen, did you tell yourself in the dream that, hey, this is just a dream at some point and I should just wake up and it'll be okay?
While I was in the dream, no.
Yeah.
But it was like once they brandished the weapons, and like it didn't get much further than that, and I woke up and I was like, like, okay, like, if some shit like that would happen, what could I do? You know what I'm saying? But I was like, thank God that was just a dream.
Well, that's freaked me out. Like
You know?
in the nightmare stuff, where I feel like there's a common thing where it's like super slow motion. You're either, like you said, Dom, you're in some type of altercation or being chased. Like,
you
and
can't
I'll,
move. Like you
yeah,
can't
or
get
it's like I'll
away.
get into a car and think I should be getting safe, and I can't operate it for some reason. And
Yep.
even though I do it every day, but then it just always throws me when I feel like it's like impending danger. And then for some reason, I'll have this like very rational moment in the dream and tell myself like, "Hey, this it's not real." And then I wake up, and then I have to like spend 10 minutes like
Oh yeah, but
calming down.
that's
Yeah.
happened sometimes though,
So-
Gary. Like sometimes like I'm in a dream and I'm aware that it's a dream. I'm like, hey, I'm dreaming. So can I do this? Can I do this?
Funny. I find that funny.
Story, not funny story is like that happened last January when I ended up in the hospital.
Mm.
Up having a heart attack, dreaming I was having a heart attack.
Oh shit.
Man. Shit.
That's kind of horrible,
But-
but funny.
But to what Gary was saying, it made me laugh because I could picture Gary in a dream the same way he is in real life and saying to himself, I'm not going to do that because that's wrong. Or this is just a dream. So this cannot be happening in real life.
This is what I'm going to take control of this situation right now. Stop chasing me, you murderer.
Brian, no nightmares for you?
I want to hear this shit.
Dude, I can barely. I don't know how you guys remember this shit because I can't remember really things. I mean, I've had one that I've had reoccur in the past, which is one I remember, and it's like it's one of those ones where for some reason I'm in college, but my class is in my old high school building. And it's like all of a sudden I'm like, hey, you know what? I haven't gone to this class in a while. And you go and it's like, hey, guess what? Our test is today. I'm like, oh, fuck. And, or something like that.
Dude, do you have dreams like I'm not graduating college? Like I have a dream that I fucked up and I didn't take this one class and I'm not
Totally
graduating
dumb.
college.
Had it. Yep.
You had that dream, dude?
I've had that one. Yep.
Fucking dreams,
Something's
dude.
missing. Something's missing from your prerequisites. Yeah. And then same thing.
Shit.
I'm like, I got like, no, I have a fucking diploma on the wall. I'm done.
I have that dream. I have it like once in a while. I'm like, I hate those dreams, dude.
Yo, I have this fucking dream, this fucking nightmare that fucking Takara just started re-releasing and remaking fucking the same fucking toys over and over and just repainting them, and I'm buying them and buying them and buying them.
It's a nightmare.
I did have a dream this morning. You said like, what was it, Dave? Like if you're in a fight and you wake up and your arm is numb and stuff like that. And I actually woke up this morning. And I was dreaming. I can't remember what was going on in that dream, but I really had to pee. and it was one of those, and it was sort of one of those dreams too, where it's like you're trying to, but you can't. Stuff keeps getting in the way, and something keeps fouling up. I don't know what the details are. It's like, no, let me try it. It's like, and I really gotta pee, and I gotta get this done before I pee, and whatever. And then like I wake up, and I'm like, I gotta
pee to bed.
And before I went to the bathroom, I actually like put my hand down on the mattress. I'm like, did I do it? I'm like, no, I didn't. All right. So I was like, damn. I think I almost did it. I was close.
Like, Mom, you didn't put the covers on.
You know what sucks about dreams? Like, especially like let's not talk about scary dreams, but like,
the good ones, the ones where you're bone and fucking they're never long enough.
You can never come in the dream. I never come.
Nope.
I'm fucking somebody I've never fucked before, but I can't nut.
You know what happens with me in those dreams? I'll realize in the dream what's happening, and once that happens, I wake up and I'm like, damn, let me go back to sleep. Maybe I can fall right back into this.
Come back, babe.
I've done that. It's like I think I can get back in it.
This is a good dream.
Oh man, that's so funny.
When I quit my old job and got my new job a few years ago, dude, man, I was having nightmares about my job that I left. It was like D type stuff. Like it was so weird, man. I wake up in the middle of the night and it's like I couldn't remember the name of this database that I logged into every day for the last 3 years. Then you wake up and you're like, oh, Brian, you don't have to know it. It's all right. It's fine. But it's like, but then I'm like, I'm mad at myself. Like, how can I not remember this? I don't know.
You guys ever fucking right after one of the like TF Con when you go to bed? Are you ever still in the party? I've been at the rock party when I'm asleep. I'm still with fucking people. I still see fucking people's faces like as I'm sleeping. Like
no, Dave, I don't dream about that.
Yeah, I do. I'm at that same party, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna high five you next time we both
Fuck
fly
yeah,
out on the screen.
Sweet. That's gonna happen tonight.
Oh man, so great. Okay, so I think we all answered. That was awesome. Good to hear some of that. I just came up with that one out of the blue. All right, so we'll wrap on that, guys. Good discussion tonight with the Bumblebee stuff. It was nice reminiscing over the past weekend from Zola Con. That was awesome. It was awesome to see each and every one of you in person. Always love it. Looking forward to the next. Hopefully, I'm still debating whether to come through for NJCC, even if it's just going to be for a short amount of time and head back to the city. More likely than not, I'll probably come through and hang out. So we'll wrap on that. We're going to continue to hang out. We're going to post a link to the hangout in the ROC Facebook group. We'll continue unbroadcasted. So with that said, let's just run it down the line and get some where you at. Brian Brink, I'll start with you, brother.
You found me, Brian Brink, in the Facebook groups, at Brink Lives on Instagram. Tune in tomorrow night for some fun.
Figure banging. I wonder what's the super secret figure. I think I know what it is. I think I know. Mm-hmm. Big Dom.
Find me here Tuesday nights. And my name is Dominic Grasso on the Facebook groups. Putting it all out there.
Put it all out there.
That's the name my mommy gave me.
Energon Addict.
Energon Addict on Instagram. David Colon in the Facebook groups. I just want to take a quick moment to thank Chan and JD for this wonderful hat.
That's awesome.
JD for my Jabba display that he finished and brought to me this weekend.
I want to
thank that was an incredible looking piece too.
Gary for the hookup this weekend. We did a little rock swap. I gotta thank Dom for a fucking great deal on a fucking figure that we got. And he fucking basically got it for me for like a fraction of the price. And when I went to pay him for it, he basically told me, "Don't worry about it. I got you." So thank you, buddy.
Much love.
Brian, thank you for muling my toy over for me too from the last con.
Mule.
Thank you, Dave, for this.
And Jose, I'll just thank you for being you and fucking taking the ride with me and keeping me company because Eric falls asleep all the time. If I didn't have you talking to me, I might fucking kill myself in the traffic that we fucking sat in.
Word.
Shit, dude.
I want to thank everybody.
Thank
you. Love you all. Goodbye.
Awesome, bro. Love you too, bro. All right, G Money.
Yeah, top G.
I really, every time I gotta follow something, so I'll just go with the old standby and just say, "Hey, Gary Allen in the Facebook group."
Just show us your triceps. That's all you need to do. There you go. There you go.
All right, JD.
Oh, it's time to go.
What's that time? At least for the live portion of this.
Why, JD, you want to go back to the dealer room and make one more lap?
Yes, absolutely.
Want to go back to that Bumblebee discussion? Go 10 more minutes?
Nope. I'm broke.
Well, let them know.
You can find me, JD Brocious, in the Facebook groups. Pigment Surgery on Instagram and Xbox Live. Here every Tuesday at 8. Tomorrow night. All new figure banging. And I think that's it. Thank you to Brian for Atomo and Salvia Promenade.
Ooh.
And thank you to Dust for the Pez stuff. Star Wars and Stranger Things Pez collectibles.
We had a nice little rock swap this weekend.
Yes.
Nice.
I got to thank Eric for lunch too, and Skinny Vinny. Thank you for those toys. Love you guys too. I didn't want to forget anybody. Sorry.
Yeah, word up. Yep, that's true. Thank you, Eric. He did buy me my sandwich as well this past Saturday, and it was good to see him. Glad that he hung out because I wasn't even expecting to see him.
Thank you, Eric, for trying to buy my sandwich, but my salad actually, because I had a salad.
Dom ordered too quick. He was like, fuck. He's like,
got really mad.
Yeah, he was upset. Don't worry, you'll get him.
He bought
next
my
time.
water. He bought my water.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Right, Gary? I'm drinking water, Gary.
That's good. I'm telling you, that's going to be the key for you. You're in the running.
That's right. That's right. Okay. As for myself, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Xbox Live, and the PlayStation Network, everywhere online at Harrick and BX. Here every single Tuesday with these fine gentlemen. Great discussion tonight. Love you all. And check out Verbally Challenged with Harrick and BX on all audio platforms. Got some interviews with some of these guys about Zola Con, so check that out if you desire to. All right, guys, before we head out, check out the website, realmofcollectors.com. Remember that this show is also available in an audio format on iTunes and Google Play. You can subscribe. Remember to leave us a 5-star review if you prefer the audio version. If you're watching us on YouTube, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Please. Doesn't cost you a thing. We always appreciate the love and support from everybody out there. This show is a proud part of the Cool Table, so please pull up a chair. It's a hub for like-minded podcasts, including Enter the Realm, Plastic Fanatics, Shattercast Uncut, Toy Detox, Nerd Rage Radio, Beer and Bolters, 30K now. Stasis Lock 8 weeks, building up to it, and fresh communication. You can check out the Cool Table on Facebook along with links to all those other awesome podcasts. We're going to be posting the link to the Hangout in the ROC Facebook group. Please hop in, hang out, and we'll see the rest of you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye.
Later.